TheMotorcycleBoss. Today we're working on a 2011 Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R, my personal bike. This thing just needs a simple service, just needs a cable lubing, and I'm just going to be doing the clutch cable today, but the steps I'm going to show you work equally as well with a throttle cable or any other cable your bike may have. So we're going to go through this process. It's nice, quick, simple. I have one little device that I'm going to use to help push the lube through to make sure it goes all the way through from one end to the other. And I'll actually show you that right now. Hold on. So this little thing right here is a Motion Pro cable luber. It actually has these little screws right here that will actually open this up, and you slide the cable inside, put the stick inside, and it forces it down. It's basically a little rubber bladder inside here. And I'll show you how to use that in a second. Alright, so right here, this is your clutch lever. It's going to be on the left-hand side of the bike most of the time. We're going to first remove this cable right here, but as you can tell, we try to pull it and it's not going to let us. So we have this right here, which is the adjuster. And basically this adjusts this gap right here to find out how close or how far away it is. In order for us to pull this cable out so we can service it, we have to tighten this down. And you don't have to worry about setting it. I'll show you how to set it when we're done. And basically, once we get it tight enough, we're going to make sure that this line right here lines up with the line on the side, right on the side of this, so we can get this cable out. So get it as tight as you can. And then once it bottoms out, you're going to back it off to where it lines up with this slit down here. You'll see the slit. And as you can see right here, the cable's going through. So what we're going to do, once we have that slit lined up, we're going to grab right here. We're going to pull this cable out. It'll come all the way to the lever, and then you're just going to yank this out. And we're left with this right here. So we're going to put that device that I have right on this fitting right here, and it's going to force the lube all the way through. So now that we have that done, we're going to move over to the receiving end of this line to make sure that we catch any fluid or anything that might be there. So this is the other side of the cable that we were just using, and when you pull on the cable, it pulls that up. So when we force fluid through here, it's going to come out of this opening. So we're going to just take a rag, and we're just going to try to stuff it around that area the best we can, just to try and keep down on the mess that we're going to make. Alright, so the next step, we're going to cover up this area. We're going to be pushing this fluid through with a clean towel. I swear it's clean, I just washed it. Just so that we don't get a whole bunch of oil all over the place over here. Just the best you can. We're going to grab our Motion Pro Luber, and you'll see one side has a very, very small hole, and the other side has a very big hole. You're going to back these screws out a good amount. You're going to place this fitting in that big hole, and you're going to push it up until it stops right about there, and then you're going to start cinching down on these. You don't want it too tight. So now we have this little orifice right here that's going to be where the red straw goes for the lubricant. So we're going to stick that in there. And you're going to have to go down to most likely cycle gear, and they're going to have this can of cable lube meant specifically for this job. Go ahead and put it the other side right in there. Now when we spray this, we're going to get a good amount of lube coming out of here. It's not a perfect seal. So we're going to cover this with a towel just so we can catch most of the stuff coming out. So now when I spray this, we're going to look on the other side to make sure it's coming out the other side. So as you saw, it came out the other side. And you can see it's not coming out clear or anything like that. It's because of the dirt that was trapped inside these. It makes it hard for you to pull. So we're just going to go ahead and take all this off, because now our service is complete. Just back these screws out. Take this out the reverse way you put it in. We'll set this aside. Just clean up the area here. Alright. So now we're going to take our cable, we're going to insert it back where it was. This is the exact same thing we did before. We're going to pull it up into position. And now we're going to back this adjuster out again to the position it either was, or we're going to set it to where it's supposed to be. What this is going to do is, you want to see this gap right here. You want it to be with very, very little tension on the cable. You want it to be about 2 to 3 millimeters wide. So we'll back this off. It's right about there. So you can see it's a very, very small gap. And the reason we do this is so that we can see that the clutch is fully engaged and it's not running on it at all. So that when we pull onto it, we're also going to grab as much of the clutch cable as we can to disengage the clutch as much as possible. The other thing is, make sure that this slit right here is facing down, especially if you live in rainy areas, because you don't want rain to get caught in here and rust out the cable. This is another reason why we lube the cable. Is, for one, you'll get a smoother pull, and the other reason is to keep it from corroding under rust. As long as you keep it lubed, just like your chain, it will not rust. As for that, that's it. That's the end of the service. You can do the same thing with your throttle cables and any other cable you may have on the bike. It works exactly the same way. Alright, well, go ahead and hit me up on Instagram at TheMotorcycleBoss, and I'll see you again.